I did this video already, so I'm gonna do it again. Lately, something has been happening to me that I cannot explain, and I don't want to scare nobody, but I need you to follow me along, okay? I need you to understand that throughout this walk in life, you will experience things that make no sense. But in those very things that you find that makes no sense, God has the sense to be made of this thing, okay? If you follow me, follow me. Now let's get into it. Familiar. The familiar, a familiar spirit is the Jezebel spirit. Keep that case in point in your mind. A familiar spirit is a Jezebel spirit. When somebody's a familiar spirit, that's the spirit of Jezebel. Okay? Let's get into it. Now, when in the Bible, when God brings people to certain people, there's always a waiting period. Usually when things are all of a sudden, you gotta think about it. Not every time, but you really have to use discernment, because there was always a waiting period for that God would bring the people of God together. Okay, people of God that have a love and heart for each other. Everybody knew it was like a ceremonial moment. There's many times that happens in the Bible where it's just like God has brought us together. Okay, but I want to assure you that the devil is always sending people. And these people, they almost seem like God sent, or they always seem like they come at the right time, or they always seem like they come at a time where you need them, or you need somebody, or you lonely. You need to be mindful and careful. I'm going to get into my story now. There is this man that I used to know in my past, okay? I seen this man one day at the gym, but before I seen him at the gym, he pulled up alongside of me. Mind you, I did not know who he was. So but I knew somebody pulled alongside of me. I didn't look at the man. I didn't know, whatever. That's the first time that this happened. He pulled alongside of me. You don't think nothing of people that pull alongside of you. Like, you don't know this person. I didn't look at him, but I knew. Now that I know his car, now that I know him, he parked alongside of me. Just out of nowhere, okay? And I'm getting my stuff out the trunk, whatever, and I'm like, is he staring? Because it looked like he was. And I was like, I was going to turn and look, but something told me, Ashley, don't worry about it. Just get your stuff out the trunk and continue to walk. So, I go inside the gym. No big deal. I'm working on my back. My eyes cut straight to him. Like, they literally go like that. And I'm like, I know that man. Baby, when I tell you things are spiritual. I'm like, that's the same man from the parking lot. Even though I didn't see him. Because it was like the vibe he was giving. It was like, when I tell you this stuff for spiritual, like you can see at the corner of your eye somebody, and it was looking like him. I knew my mind told me, that's him. Holy Spirit, that's him. I'm like, okay. But I know him from somewhere. Let it go. End up doing my back. Go to, start working on my arms. This man comes and sits right next to me. And I'm like, oh my God. I have to ask this man, where do I know him from? But I couldn't ask him. It was kind of weird. So I just kept working out, and he was literally sitting right next to me. Out of all the spots he could sit, he sat right next to me. Now I have a story where this happened to me before. I can tell y'all this story later. If y'all want to hear that story, tell us that story that happened to you in the comments. Anyway. And so I'm like, okay. I leave because I couldn't ask him. I was getting ready because I was still trying to figure out how I knew him. I leave to go get some more dumbbells from the other side to come back to my spot. Come back to my spot. There's a man and a woman who I seen previously in my spot. Don't say nothing. I just get my stuff. But before I do, God says to me, they're your angels. They're protecting you. I'm like, because they come right between me and him. Literally right between me and him. And I'm like, I ain't think of nothing of it. I'm just keep on. I'm like, this is weird. God is still steadily talking to me in my mind while this is happening. And so I'm like, and mind you, I'm getting like this weird feeling because I'm so sensible. Like, I catch on like fast. That's why you need to be in tune with your emotions and who you are, because God is constantly sending you signals of what to watch out for and who to watch out for and how to be careful. And so you can pick up on a familiar spirit. So you can pick up on Jezebel because that's how she works. Jezebel knows how you work. She knows you're emotional. She knows she's been studying you since you was a child. So she knows how to push and pull. She knows how to make you feel ignored where you run and try to figure something out. She knows how to perform witchcraft on you, okay? Anyway, so I come back, they right there, I get my stuff, I'm like, no problem. Mind you, God telling me those are your protectors, they're your angels. Now I know. And so I take my stuff, I go on the other side. I get to working out. This man gets up and leaves. In my mind, I'm like, man, I don't really, I'm not really taking it like hard because I'm like, I don't remember where I know this man from, so it doesn't, me approaching him will be useless because I don't know where I know him from, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I let him go, whatever. I don't let him go. I let it go. I don't let him go. I let it go without even saying nothing. So he comes back. Because in my mind, I was like, man, I wish I knew. He comes back. Tell me why this man comes back. And he sits on the other side of me. Now I'm thinking, I'm like, Ashley, you got to ask him. There's no such thing as a coincidence. You know, mind me, I'm not thinking he's a Jezebel spirit. I'm not thinking he's a monitoring spirit. I didn't know this man. I remember his face. He's a familiar face. God ministered to me later that a familiar face is usually a familiar spirit. The familiar is a familiar spirit. Period. The truth is in plain sight. Familiar is a familiar spirit. Period. Take this person to God. I don't care. So I go and I finally, go and ask him. And he was like, but mind you, before I went and go ask him, he started looking at the side of his eye like that. Like, it was like really weird. Like, and I was like, I don't know. God told me to pay attention to that. The next day he was like, did you see when he did that? I was like, I did see that. And that made me think about somebody else that I'm telling you, God was trying to connect the clues. So I was like, yeah, I noticed that he did that. So, but I approached him, and I'm like, I know you from somewhere, but I really can't figure out where. And he was like, yeah, I used to work at so and so. I was like, yeah, okay, now I know. And like, he had a nice demeanor. He didn't seem rude. He wasn't not. He was very sweet to me. Like, he seemed so kind, but he was standoffish, like you could tell. And I was like, oh, I told him, how I left, and he was telling me about how he left and working from home and all this stuff. It wasn't a bond, but it was like, okay, but we shared a lot of things in common, which was kind of weird about us leaving our job at the same time, like, in the 7-year completion. You gotta be careful. You gotta watch stuff like this. And so I was like, okay, when I introduced myself to that man, tell me why every single day since I introduced myself to that man, I've been seeing that man every single day. Mind you, I never seen this man before since I knew him from my past. Never seen his face around the gym. Never seen his face at the laundromat. Never seen his face in the parking lot. Now I'm seeing him. I remember I left my underwear in the car. I had to come out and get my underwear. This is a random moment. I'm at the gym. I forgot my underwear. I'm like, okay, let me go out there and get him. He pulls right up at the same time I went outside. The next time I was doing my laundry, it was like the other day. I was doing my laundry yesterday. This man pulls up, the pulling up at the same time as me, coming out at the same time as me. But the first time I seen him, the first time I introduced myself to him, right? No problem. Second time I seen him, came out to get my underwear. Third time I seen him, like, no, this is becoming too much to be a coincidence that I'm seeing you at the same time, pulling up at the same time, like. And so I'm starting to understand, if something happens today, y'all, I think I'll be floored. I will be floored. So I just want to let y'all know, God told me this man was sent, and he's a familiar spirit. He has the spirit of Jezebel. He's giving me 256, which is the Jezebel spirit. It means Ahab, which is Jezebel. And I've been seeing this reoccurring. God, 3 o'clock in the morning, he sent, and let him in, warning me that you have to be careful. At Christmas time, people get lonely. You seem like you connecting with people. No. No, no, this is not a coincidence. Coincidence. Maybe it's meant to be. You get what I'm saying? What the devil's trying to do? It's meant to be. We see each other. It's meant to be. Maybe we should talk. No, no, no. Be careful. No, he sent. He sent. God said he was sent to destroy me. I believe him.